Good morning, Sales Academy followers, listeners, YouTubers, tweeters, everything in between us. You know who you are. Listen, today's subject. Now, I hope you can hear this, because if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the sun beating in. And if you're listening on podcast, you may be able to hear the birds chirping away in the background. And I'm not going to excuse that, and I'm not going to shut the door because I want to hear it. Listen, man. Spring. New life. Isn't it interesting that with spring and new life comes new budgets? We're in May. Everyone's budgets have been sorted for the new financial year. And oh my God, what a tirade of bullshit I've been getting in my inbox, because suddenly people have budgets again to do some marketing. There is nothing more frustrating than that cyclical nonsense, right? And here's the reason why. Today's podcast is all about relationships. Because it's all about the relationships. This is what we always bang on about. This is what we always talk about. But it amazes me how many people, how many businesses, it's more lip service than anything else, you know? So this morning, I had 3 direct emails on LinkedIn, 3 direct messages, paid for, sponsored, because they paid for it, because they've got budget, they can now message anyone on LinkedIn. And then the message that's come through, the 3 of the messages that came through are absolute tosh. It's everything about what they're doing, right? It's like they can do for me, and they don't even freaking know me, right? They've spent no time to get to know who I am, no time to get to know what my business is, no time to get to know what my goals and aspirations are, you know, what my soul account looks like and my bank account looks like, what matters to me and my business and my customers, that matters to the people in my life. But they can 10x it. Do you know what I mean? They can do all this sort of stuff. And it's just, you know, we can fill your inbox full of leads and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, I don't want that shit. And I've said this all along, you know, I've got to town with Gary Vee on this every freaking day, you know, and I love Gary Vee to bits. But these big guys that talk about, you know, the 1% conversions and all this sort of stuff, and, you know, come on. You don't tell us how to get to the 6 million list today, you know? And I've always said this, always, and this is what I've taken the task on. I don't want 6 million people. I'd rather have 60 people that are genuinely interested. I'd rather have 600 people that are genuinely interested and want to take action. Do you see what I mean? I don't need a massive list, just like I don't need a yellow Lamborghini. What I'm interested in is people. So at the base of all relationships are people. They're not suspects, they're not prospects, they're not customers, they're not staff, they're not clients, they're not team, you know, and we all use this language all the time. I'm guilty of using this language all the time in my heart, and I use this language all the time because it's much more recognizable. And I think this is the trap we fall into, because in my heart, it's about people. Relationships can't exist without people, and those people show up. So in sales, we show up. In business, we show up. In life, as a parent, we show up. As a friend, as a lover, we show up. We can't just turn up half-assed, as Matthew McConaughey would say. Don't, or his dad said to him, don't half-ass anything, right? So rather than it being amusing, I want it to be a question session. I want you to take action from today's musing. What do relationships mean to you? What is at the base of all those relationships? Why are they important? Why do you make the effort and go out of your way to build those relationships? Why do you go out of your way to maintain and develop those relationships and nurture those relationships? Why do you refer people to other people? So why do you refer businesses and products and services to your friends and family and colleagues and other business associates? Why do you do that? Why do you put people in touch with people? And I'm talking deep level intrinsic values. Now, why is it important to you to do that? Why does it matter? If we look at your sales, the conversations that your team will have, your people will have, the conversations that you will have, why do they matter? You know, there's a classic Jordan Belfort, you know, The Wolf of Wall Street, and when he does his direct selling training, I love Jordan. I met him, I spent some time with him, I coached him years ago. The whole kind of sell me this pen nonsense, right? And if you ever hear Jordan talk about it, it's exactly the same thing. If you give somebody this in an interview and say, sell me this pen, and they start selling you the pen, they clearly don't understand what sales is about. Because trying to tell you what the benefits are of this pen or the features of this pen and all that bollocks that we used to do from the 1980s and everything else, it's why would you need a pen? We need to start asking questions about, well, what would you even use a pen for, and what kind of experiences have you had of a pen? We start asking questions and understanding the need of the person sat in front of you, the human being that's there. And we got to be really confident in here that, you know what, our product, our service, our MacGuffin, as they talk about it in the Go-Giver, our MacGuffin might not be right for you. And that's okay. See, what I'm going to help you do in this conversation, in this process of questioning from one person to another person in building and establishing a relationship, which for me is built on trust, being able to know somebody, like somebody, and trust somebody is the old classic, but it's built on trust. It's built on social proofing, social acceptance, commonality. It's built on who do we know, what do we like, similarities. It's built on all that stuff. So what's the need? Underneath that, the person sat in front of you, I'm going to help you figure out what your need is, whether you choose to do business with me or not. Because what's going to happen in the process is I'll ask you a load of questions. You will ask yourself, therefore, a load of questions. You'll start to pull the veil back and lift up some things on something you may not have dusted off for a long time, or you've never even knew that you needed to dust it, right? And in that process, we're adding value. And in that process, you're learning and developing. You're taking a step back. You're doing all the things you need to do to move forward, right? To pivot, to step up. Now, that's a value, whether you choose to do business with me or not. And every single conversation I go into, I want to add value. I'm not into it for what I can get. I'm into it to add value, to make a difference, to get people thinking and acting differently, to nudge, to help people move forward, because that's my frigging purpose. And I get up every single day on purpose. That's what's important. So when I get to meet people like I am today, face-to-face and Zoom coaching, you know, and a sales appointment later on today, it's like when I get to meet people and I get to spend that time with them, I want to know about them. I want to understand their pains, their fears, their challenges, but I also want to understand their dreams, their aspirations, their goals, their success model. You know, what does it look like, feel like, and sound like? How will they know when they've got there? How will they know when they're achieving what it is they need to achieve? Let's really focus on that shit, because that's gold. Because then what we can do is create big, hairy, audacious goals around that stuff, or loads of minutiae goals, whatever it is that floats your boat. But we don't create smart goals. What we create is a smart plan and a smart implementation plan of how we get there, what we do, who we need to become. I say those three again: how we get there, what we need to do, who we need to become. That's what relationships are for me. So my question and my challenge is, within this call, I want you to think about it. How are your people, you included in that? If it's just you, how are you and your people moving other people forward to help them make a decision that's right for them? Come and talk to us. This is what we do. We love this shit. And there's a lot of experience underneath this. So yeah, we're bloody good at it too. And that ain't showing off, because if you've done it, it ain't bragging. Cool. Have a fabulous day, people. See you soon.